Hello there. We're going to start with our breaking, developing story. The airline operator EgyptAir reporting one of its planes missing from radar. In the past hour, the company has tweeted that flight MS804, it departed from Paris at about 21:09 GMT, was heading to Cairo, that it's disappeared. The flight was over the Mediterranean when contact was lost. We know very little at the moment. Our correspondent Rajed Ahmed is here to fill us in with anything else that's coming in, Rajed.
So what we know is that tweet from EgyptAir, that was the first indication we had that something had gone wrong, and that tweet came out at about 3 a.m. GMT, so a very short time ago, and then we saw it being repeated on Twitter across lots of different news networks. We've been able to glean a lot of information from those EgyptAir tweets, and what we understand is that the flight left Paris at about 21:09 GMT. It was a little bit late, so that was a Wednesday night. It was heading from Paris to Cairo. It's a well-known route, a regular route, flown quite often back and forth. But then EgyptAir says it lost radar signal when the plane was about 10 miles into Egypt airspace. So it lost radar contact at about 12:45 a.m. GMT. So basically the flight duration is about 4 hours. This is all rough numbers, but about 4 hours. So it should have landed in Cairo at between 1 or 2 a.m. GMT. So now it's a number of hours later. So it looks like the flight was probably more than halfway through its route before it went missing off radar.
59 passengers, 10 crew reported to be on board. What about the search and rescue operation?
That's right. So that's now ongoing. Civil Aviation Ministry, Egypt's Civil Aviation Ministry said it is now searching, and it's using military aircraft. And we know the flight was an Airbus A320, around 13 years old, pretty standard plane. BA has, the EgyptAir has a number in its fleet, so nothing seems to be terribly unusual. We also know that the plane flew from Cairo to Paris Wednesday afternoon, and then it was obviously leaving to return back to Cairo. So that's what we know so far, but we should hear more in the coming hours.
But there's so much more we don't know. We don't know any of the potentially last contact, any words that were spoken between cockpit and the ground. We don't particularly know anything about causes for this. What about the fleet itself of EgyptAir and this particular plane? You said it was 13 years old. That's standard. It
is pretty standard. That's not terribly unusual to have a plane that old. EgyptAir apparently have 11 Airbus A320 and a total fleet of 63 aircraft. And all the tweets we've been seeing from EgyptAir so far are just informing us that this plane has lost radar contact from the plane, the number of people on board, and that we're now seeing a search and rescue effort over the Mediterranean.
Okay, Rajed, thank you very much indeed. Obviously, as we get the information, we'll pass it on to our viewers. Thanks, Rajed.